Well, this big battle that we've been waiting for happens in the West, and it is the second highest casualty battle of the war. Yay! Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny, and it's not a great week.
No, it's got to be, because we were setting up for, like, we were all getting in position, we were getting ready, we were going to have some battles, right?
It doesn't go
but supplies.
Johnny, let's get into it. It's a whoopsie battle. It's a whoopsie week. It's a whoopsie battle. Let's get into it. If you want details, specific details of this battle in more depth than what I'm going to give you right now, go watch Chickamauga. We did a whole episode on the Battle of Chickamauga. Go watch that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 45 minutes long. Gives you much more deep info than we're going to get. Anyways, go watch that. All right. It's a whoops battle, Johnny. On the 18th, Bragg is still attempting to lure Union troops into a kill zone they are fully aware of, so you're not going to get them lured into that kill zone, but he's still going to try.
So it's like a box with a stick underneath it. Like, come on, don't worry about that. And then we see what you're doing.
So Bragg is going to send some forces to attempt to go to the north of the Union lines to then draw them into
kind of push them into it.
Yeah, kind of
basically.
Yeah. And one of his corps decides to take a wrong road.
Oops.
And they run into Union Cav at Reed's Creek Bridge. Starting off, significant. You could really call this the first day of the battle because there's significant enough casualties and fighting that go on here.
All right, so this is kind of a borderline skirmish, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's skirmish, almost battle.
Kind of considered it, but
by my numbers, it's a battle because by my numbers, it's more than 100 casualties today. But
okay, yeah,
in the history books, they're not going to consider this the first day of the battle.
Nothing matters until at least 100 people die.
Yeah, well, this is more like 2,000.
Or injured or lost. To
very heavy skirmishing exists here. Once Bragg realizes that he's got some forces engaged, not where he wanted them to engage, he sends some reconnaissance. They attempt to cross the creek here, and they go down to Alexander Bridge, where they run into the Wilder's Brigade, Johnny. And the Wilder's Brigade is that unit of Union forces led by Colonel Wilder, who bought these nice new Spencer repeating rifles for all of his men.
Oh, yeah, those shoot fast, right?
Yeah, they're the 7-shot repeating. All I got to do is work that lever, cock that hammer, and you're good to go.
Bang, 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 bang,
and they ride into horseback. So they're at Alexander Bridge when your Confederates are coming across them, and they unload holy hellfire on them. They also have 4 cannons from the Lilly Battery, the 18th Indiana. More Indiana news. This is mostly an Indiana unit with Indiana cannons, and they wreak havoc on the Confederates there. Unfortunately for them, the Union troops over at Reed's Bridge are not able to hold on. They have to pull back. They aren't able to burn the bridge, so the Confederates are able to cross there. They also cross at a southern bridge that's below Wilder's brigade that also is not defended right now, so Wilder's forced to pull back.
Well, that sucks. Now, were the Confederates, did they know about...
No, this is new.
So could you imagine...
So
imagine
Custer.
Were they confused with how fast they were being shot?
They had to be. Yeah. So the only other time they would have seen this is on the last day of the Battle of Gettysburg. Custer's troops had a few of these. Now
a few.
Yeah, not a whole brigade or armed whatever with just the We're not talking about a couple dudes. We're talking the whole brigade. Had in fact, this is a 72nd Indiana gun. This is in fact a Wilder's Brigade gun, right?
And so
that I'm holding.
They saw that. They came across it. They got shot at faster than anybody's ever been shot at in the history of the world, likely.
Yeah.
And they just kept coming, and
they just kept coming. They're like, what the hell's going on?
Why are you
wasting human life?
Why are you so crazy? You guys are all right. So you guys are fighting for the rich man. Yeah. And why? What are you doing? Just
exactly.
Stop. Just quit it. Can they quit it?
They didn't.
Stop.
No.
Please.
On the 19th, Johnny, we get the full start of the second bloodiest battle of the war, which also starts as a whoops We had the whoops of taking the wrong road that got us to Reed's Bridge. On the 19th, Union forces they're going to go get some water. They want some water, so they go to the little creek, little bog there. They go get some get some water. And while they're doing that, 9th and Bedford Force, who was ordered to go north of the Union lines to, again, attack from the north. The real goal here is the Union's only escape routes are the northern roads around this area that lead back to Chattanooga. So if you can knock out the northern end of the Union line,
they have nowhere to go.
Cut off their escape route.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for General Bragg, Union forces underneath General Thomas arrived late in the night that weren't expected to be there, and that Union line got extended a hell of a lot farther north than what Bragg thought. So when 9th and Bedford Force ponies go to get themselves a drink at the bog, shit, Union troops! And there's a quick little skirmish. And then the Union troops fall back to General Thomas. They go, there's Confederates on this side of the creek. And General Thomas is like,
they're here.
We'll go get them. Like, let's do the thing.
Oh, no.
And before you know it, there's a full-scale battle between 9th and Bedford Ford, General Thomas's forces, and that's going to last pretty much their whole day around Lafayette Road. This is very densely wooded areas. You can't see fuck all in front of you because it's very densely wooded. Once you get the smoke of the battlefield going on, it is confusion, it is mayhem, and you've got Bragg, who is writing his orders down, sending them to his troops, who are going, nah.
We're busy and don't want to.
Both sides throw everything they can at each other. When a Union hole fills, Rosecrans expertly gets that he's like, all right, you troops go there. Part of that is Waller's brigade, who's running like chickens with their heads cut off around the battlefield, plugging gaps where they can, really saving the Union lines majorly during this portion of the battle.
Yeah, well, okay, so that's good. So, all right, so the new weapons as a ordnance officer, they're working well, right?
They're working well. This is the first real good field trial we have of these guns, and right now, even when you single shot,
of them.
Even if you ignore the magazine, you just say the hell with that 7-round magazine in reserve, and you just single feed
just one
this
at
cartridge,
a time, which is possible with this gun.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you just load it. You just drop that, and you go, all right, and I'll feel that man. Yeah, and you can single shot this.
Which I imagine after they spend their first magazine, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, magazine. Yep.
Once they expend that. They get 7 quick ones, and then it's just bang, 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 but it's still quicker.
Or they could load the magazine up and do it again, but yeah, I don't think it really much
matters. But, I don't know.
Speed-wise. I would probably just do
I don't know. If I had it, because I'd be scared of shit, I would be bang, 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 do all my 7, and then I'd just be trying to get it as fast as I can.
Yeah, that's probably
still quicker than doing that.
Still quicker than the musket
thing with
muzzle loading.
That's... God.
Way quicker than that. Way quicker.
What a thing of the past, right?
What a thing of the past. The battle pretty much ends with Rosecrans realizing that he is heavily outnumbered because Longstreet is now there, and goes, all right, an assault is not going to work. We're just going to dig in. So he orders all of his men, General Thomas and Rosecrans, decide we're digging in. They start building entrench works. Knocking down trees, putting them in front of them, digging down, doing what they can to build up as much defenses as they can.
Yeah, just horrible deforestation. Just
for the purpose of killing. On the 20th,
about the squirrels and shit living in those trees.
Yeah, on the 20th, Bragg sends orders that are again ignored. He wants a general assault at 6 o'clock in the morning on the Union Northern lines. And
I get why that's ignored. That's early.
Nah. General Breckinridge specifically says, my troops need breakfast. So we're going to eat breakfast.
I mean, right? Yes. Please, if I'm going to be fighting all day, give me some of that deer we shot or whatever the hell.
Unfortunately for Bragg, at 6 o'clock in the morning, the Union breastworks weren't completed. By 9 o'clock when the battle actually starts, they are completed.
Shoot. That's whoops.
There's another. Whoops. The battle's going fine for the Union until Rosecrans.
Maybe just learn to eat a bigger lunch. I don't know.
Yeah. Battle's actually going fine for the Union until Rosecrans gets a report that there's a hole in the Union line where there isn't a hole. And then he orders Union troops into that hole. And the commanding officer doesn't question that order because the day before, Rosecrans says, if you ever question me again, I'm going to have you court-martialed. So he goes, all right, I can clearly see that there's no hole, but
malicious compliance.
You told me to move, so I'm moving. And creating a real hole that happened right as Longstreet's Corps was doing its charge across the field, using actually similar number of men to pick its charge. And then they come in and they're like, oh, there's a big old hole here. And they fold up the entire southern wing of the Union Army, which is Rosecrans's wing, which goes into full panic retreat, and run back to Chattanooga. On those
with their
roads.
Better, that's disappointing.
These haven't left the field yet.
Okay.
They're still on the field. So General Thomas creates a horseshoe position on the heights around Chickamauga. I guess we're defending. So he covers, his whole job here now at this point is to cover as much of the Union retreat as he can, save the Union Army so they can get back to Chattanooga, regroup, redo with this. We're not going to win the battle. We know we're going to lose. But Horseshoe Hill is the nickname. Thomas is going to get the nickname the Rock of Chickamauga because he holds, and oh boy, does he hold.
All right, so the geography of where we're dealing with, they were able to go high up around what is a valley or depression, like they got the high ground, or they just do the horseshoe?
No, it's high ground.
They were able to get high ground on it, and then now they're just okay.
Yep. This part of the battle goes about what you would expect. What General Thomas does that is really well here is that he does what's called rolling fire. So where we don't have the fast repeating guns, instead of having your entire brigade or division or corps up and doing volley fires or brigade fires, all that stuff all at once, he has regiments at a time. One regiment will step up front. They'll do a volley fire on the crest of the hill. They'll back out. Another regiment will come up. So you have continual rolling fire. Very effective. Against an onslaught. In fact, General Longstreet says that the Confederates assaulted Horseshoe Ridge 25 times during this day, and 25 times were repulsed.
Yeah, it's so
heavy casualties.
All right, so we've done some testing with reloads and all that. So basically, if you have three to four round, groups going up and firing, you're going to be able to get off a volley or whatever every 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's, which is...
When we talk about...
essentially...
the average soldier is supposed to get 3 rounds off in a minute. They're not. They're getting 1.5.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. They're getting about 1.5, maybe 2. But when you do rolling fire...
No, we both got 2.
Yeah.
We were able to get 2. And I'm nothing if not an average soldier.
When you do rolling fire, you're more like 4 or 5.
Yeah. That's.
And granted,
that's
it's not as many bullets going down the hill, but it's constant bullets going down the hill. So it's
even if you are doing the same number of bullets, you know how many of those bullets are going into trees, going into the ground, going over heads. Most of them aren't hitting anything anyway. If they were, the casualties of this horrific war would be just astronomical. It would if all the bullets that were shot hit somebody, this war would have been over in 3 weeks because they all would have died.
Yeah. In any case, as the battle progresses, General Rosecrans gives General Thomas the order, hey, you got to pull back. Pull back now, come back. So he, as sections pulls back. We do have the last Union troops that are up there, several regiments, fight with bayonets because they're out of ammo, and they only surrender when they're completely surrounded.
We ran out of ammo?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, towards the end.
How?
Yeah.
What? But we got plants and melt down some church bell. What are we doing?
Well, Johnny, when you're having an all-day-long battle and your supply lines are now gone because they went back to Chattanooga, you're kind of left with what you got. It happens.
Shoot.
So the Confederates do take the day. They do win. Casualties around this battle were about 16,000 for the Union, 18,000 for Confederates, give or take. If you want specific numbers, go watch her. And you want specific stuff, go watch her thing.
Crap.
On the 21st, Johnny, Thomas and Rosecrans are going to occupy good defensive positions in and around Chattanooga, with Bragg ordering a pursuit and then immediately canceling the order. Because I don't know.
That's what we do. I don't know. That's what we do. It's just no one wants to do anything anymore. That's why.
He is going to occupy the mountains around Chattanooga by the end of the week and begin a siege on Thomas's and Rosecrans' forces. Lincoln is going to write to Burnside demanding that he aids Rosecrans without delay. And to Rosecrans, he sends a letter saying, and I quote here, "We have unabated confidence in you and in your soldiers and in your officers. Save your army by taking up strong positions."
And Burnside said, "No, I still don't want this job."
That's Rosecrans. No, that order was.
No, I know,
but
he also.
Burnside's going.
Yeah. He's like, "I don't want to," because I want this job.
22nd, we're going to see heavy skirmishing around Knoxville, hemming up Burnside in and around Knoxville. Yep. So Burnside's out of the picture, forcing Lincoln to route 3 divisions.
Which is what he wants, really.
Yeah, it really is what he wants. So 3 divisions of Grant's army are going to move from Vicksburg down to Chattanooga to aid. Lincoln is also going to find out that his brother-in-law is going to die at Chickamauga, fighting for the Orphan Brigade of Kentucky for the Confederates. And I know you're mourning, Lincoln. I know you're mourning. I get it.
Back up. Back up. Lincoln's
brother-in-law fighting for the dirty rebels.
Fighting for the rebels for the what?
The Orphan Brigade of Kentucky. They're called the Orphan Brigade because there's a brigade of Confederate volunteers from Kentucky who are orphaned because they cannot go back home to Kentucky. So while all the other Confederate troops can occasionally
orphaned because Kentucky didn't secede.
Yeah, they didn't secede. No, these are
they're still Kentucky. Part of us, and these are Kentucky and the Union.
Yeah.
So his sister married somebody who. God, could you imagine? I'm sorry, this is insane. Your sister married somebody who's like, nope. I understand that your brother is president of the United States, but I don't like black folks, so I'm gonna go fight for the Confederates. Leave you at home and then die.
This was allegedly Lincoln's favorite brother. Like, this is his favorite brother-in-law, and he's all distraught about it. But
why?
Lincoln,
he doesn't care about
traitor.
You. He doesn't like you, Lincoln.
No, he doesn't.
Holy shit! He literally treason against you, the president of the United States, and you're like, oh, I gotta mourn this. Not only traitor to the country, traitor to the state,
his home state. Yeah. Yep.
Jesus.
Lincoln's cabinet is going to meet on the 23rd and discuss the fate of Rosecrans. Serious debate over whether they should keep him or fire him or do whatever with him happens. But they decide, all right, listen, we're going to give him some more reinforcements. We already gave him 3 divisions from Grant. Let's give him the entire 11th and 12th Corps from Meade's army, which is led by General Hooker, to go aid Rosecrans out there in Chattanooga so we don't lose Chattanooga. This is going to be a massive rail ride that is going to shadow what Longstreet did, because Longstreet got there, in several days, much closer distance than what is about ready to happen with much fewer numbers. This is the entirety of the 11th and 12th Corps. Already, Lincoln is getting with all the parties that need be to cut the red tape, cut the bureaucratic crap. Like, we are confiscating these trains, we're confiscating these rail cars, we're getting these men over there as quick as possible. The initial assessment is saying that it's going to take a month to do this. Hooker says he can do it in a week.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right. That would be great, right?
We'll see.
Do it in a week. Then prove it.
We'll see.
Right?
On an odd note, 2 vessels from the Russian Imperial Navy are going to be welcomed in California.
What?
Yeah, wait, apparently they don't want to
California exists.
Yeah.
I always forget. It's so far
They don't
away.
want to stay. They don't want to stay in the Baltic for the winter. They're also afraid that Europe might be mad at them because they might have gotten into war with a neighbor. I think it was Poland.
Oh, well.
Happens. So
what are you going to do?
So we're like, Poland. Yeah, come on. So we're going to entertain the Russians, I guess.
What I expect is a long line of them being invaded and
probably. And Johnny, the week is going to end on the 24th with what's become known as a great rail transfer. And the 11th and 12th Corps are going to begin their approved transports and start to move out at the beginning of next week. We'll see if by the end of next week they actually make it or not.
Yeah, and that's all great. But since when did Lincoln start requesting approval?
Yeah, right.
Like
he just does it.
What a weird time for him to be like, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, we need to make sure everybody's on board with this."
Well, the railroads do have a lot of
approval, get the signatures, get all that.
I think the railroads do have a lot of money, Johnny. I think that's probably part of
it. There you go. Okay. Yeah. All about them Benjamins.
So we'll see if this great rail transfer actually goes through or not. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight. We'll talk about all kinds of fun things, like, I don't know, shit, we've done so many things, like with Pig Wars. Do you ever wonder why Michigan has the Upper Peninsula? It's because they went to war with Ohio for Toledo. For reasons.